Okay, here I am, everybody. Welcome back from this morning's little broadcast. We've got a really good show tonight. We've done a lot of planning on this for the last several hours. We have been trying to get all the we've been trying to get all of our notes together and everything else. So we're doing this. We're doing this live here. And hang on just a second. Let me make sure that that I have all my graphics uh, together here. So it's all the planning. There you go. Okay, so what I thought was, I'd always wanted to do maybe a podcast or something like that. That in that would everybody says, oh, it's so funny and all that. You can't be funny unless you have really good friends that you can laugh at. And one of the ideas for podcasts that I always wanted to do was called was called People I Know. And so if I ever do that, you may be included in People I Know. So here's who I'm going to introduce, and he's going to start with a little bit of a song. I'm fairly sure it's my friend Jeff Filice, former college roommate for my 7 years of undergrad at SIU. From let's see, there he is.
I can't.
Hey, what's up, Felice?
Hey, Toby.
How's Georgia?
It's good, man. We're trying to survive, brother.
Well, so Jeff, here's why I thought that I would bring you on for this today, because I was watching my Facebook feed for the last several weeks, and you were the first doomsdayer that was warning everybody that this was real shit. So tell everybody about yourself. You're a pilot, right? Who do you fly
man.
for? Who do you fly
Pilot,
for? Are those your pilot glasses? Or I mean,
yeah,
not pilot glasses, your pilot headphones?
headphones. No, I stole these from my son. He's 10 years old, so gaming is the big thing, and yeah, so definitely not my pilot headphones. Although I thought about using them. The problem is the plug doesn't fit in the laptop, so that's why we're working with these. But yeah, our industry's getting slaughtered right now. It's along with everybody else's, and yeah, I don't know, man. It was back in January, so it's kind of a funny story. My father has ties in Asia, and he retired in 2016. He was also an airline pilot, and he went out to China in late January, and this all was mushrooming at that time. And he came back, and we had plans to visit him in California in mid-February or so. And man, I tell you what, we were freaked out. We were like, you need to self-quarantine for 14 days. And that was kind of the beginning of my awareness of the seriousness of the situation. So, but I've always been a doomsday prepper. I've always and it's kind of funny because it's a hobby,
Yeah.
Never going to happen. There was a point a couple years ago where I had stockpiles of shit in my house and nothing ever happened. And then the bugs came. So they ate all the shit, the bugs and the rats, and attracted all. And it was like, what am I doing? This is stupid, right? And so I had to call an exterminator and get that all cleaned up. It was a mess. And so it wasn't real then, but now it is, man.
What's the flag behind you?
Oh yeah, so this is an actual flag from where I was supposed to go this week. I'd been a week of vacation, and I was supposed to be in Iwo Jima. We're going to fly to Guam, just me and my wife, and do a 75th anniversary memorial of the Battle of Iwo Jima from World War II, and where my grandfather served on that island as a 5th Marine. And that failed epically because of this coronavirus. So I thought it would be an appropriate backdrop I hang this in my house. This actually came off the island of Iwo Jima as one of the
Did you get
few
in the
tokens.
war?
Pardon?
Did you get it in the war?
He did. My grandfather did. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you did.
No. No. No words here. Not yet.
So you're stuck. So you're supposed to be flying overseas. Where all do you fly to? All over? Normally.
Yeah. So normally, yeah. So I work for JetBlue. We're a small domestic carrier. We do a lot of Caribbean, South America, and stuff like that. But right now, our company and our entire industry is getting decimated. We're still flying, which honestly I don't know why, but the word on the street, this is straight from the horse's mouth, is we're parking airplanes, and jobs are going to be cut. It's just really sad. But I've been through this twice, man. 9/11 furloughed, I got laid off from that, and then 2008, I got laid off at that juncture. And a little good news for the people watching is there is light at the end of the tunnel. We are pretty epic human beings, and
Sure.
we adapt,
So talk about. I remember this. So you got. So was it after 9/11 that you got furloughed? Is that what happened? And then you went and God, you were unemployed. You went and did. I love the stories. Your brother's in finance. You did some finance stuff. I love that story. But you got your Series 7 and all that other shit, right?
I did. So, and that's kind of hope for the people watching right now. It's kind of an interesting story. I'll keep it short, but it wasn't 9/11. It was 2008 when the economy crashed due to the mortgage, the leverage of our nation. So, at the end of the story, I ended up getting a job with Morgan Stanley as a financial advisor, and I mean, I couldn't balance my checkbook, man, but I got the job because I was persistent, but also it was all about who you know. So your network is very important.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it lasted until I got another airline job. I was, that's what I do. I drive jets.
Yeah. So, and now you're like a big, now you're like you fly the big ones, right? Not the.
I do.
Yeah. So
yeah, I fly Airbus A320, 321 for JetBlue, and yeah, it's tough, man.
So when's
right
the last time you flew?
I did a trip March 12th, a 2-day trip, and I went down to San Juan, Puerto Rico, via Fort Lauderdale from New York JFK, where I'm based. And I'm not gonna lie, man, it was stressful.
Was this for real? Just like all kinds? Were people freaking out or what?
No, it was not freaking out. A lot of masks. I was asking myself a lot of questions of why people were still in airports, but yeah, no, it wasn't a freak out. It was just very nervous. And my biggest fear is getting stuck on an island or some foreign country away from my family during this time. So yeah, it's a tough position to be in because you want a job and you want to keep the airline alive, but in the same token, you have a family and a life and outside of that job. And if you're stuck in Grenada or Trinidad or San Juan, Puerto Rico, or wherever, when they shut it down, guess what? You're stuck. You can't rent a car and drive. I mean, I guess we can call some Cubans. They're pretty good at building rafts, You float back.
What are you drinking tonight?
So this is a special bottle. I opened it today, actually, last night, but I was just one pour. This is called Angel's Envy. It's a finished rye. It's a pretty good bottle, man. So the liquor store, yeah. Well, they only had 2 bottles, so I bought both of them. It's like, well, the world's gonna end.
I bet you that if I was still drinking, I bet you that bottle I bet you there'd be that much left in that bottle. And we've only been doing this for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. So
I'm so proud of you. And let me tell the world that's watching that Toby came to my 40th birthday party. We rented a cabin in North Georgia in the mountains, man. And it was pretty epic. And it meant a lot to me, just saying, love you, man.
Oh, well, we'll do a virtual hug. And, but that's and I'm sorry about all the gay stuff during that weekend.
Well, speaking of our trip, man, to North Georgia, you brought Radar.
I did bring Radar.
Right. Hey, is he on the menu?
Is he what? Do you? So we were
kidding.
So no, we could be on the menu, but I mean the kids come first,
right?
That
calf muscle, man. You gotta get the calf muscle.
All right, folks. Here's the deal. If you got questions for Jeff, if you got questions for Jeff, you ask him, and then we can throw him out there. There's your brother, Taco Cat spelled backwards.
Taco Cat. Taco Cat, man. That was Walmart. Toby used to tell that story of us.
Oh God, we went to Walmart and to buy provisions or something during that trip, and it was your dad and me and Patrick and you and Radar, and we got 4 T-shirts that said Taco Cat spelled backwards is Taco Cat.
And then you and Patrick got lice from wearing the Halloween things. Remember you guys?
Awesome. When we put the masks or whatever those were on, like that. Yeah. Here's one for you, Jeff. This is my friend Liz Brown Reeves. She's an SIU,
SIU
alumni too, or alumnus or whatever that is. So, what's the best story at college? Do you recall? My God. I remember one. Here's one I remember. So I was working on a that first campaign, right? With Barb Brown.
Yes.
God rest her soul. And she so anyway, it was we had an ink stamp. I mean, you have to I think we have a tendency to forget that, like, computers and stuff, you were the only guy with a computer in the house that we lived at, right?
That's right. That's true. I remember that.
And so, but anyway, we had one at the campaign office, and it was your birthday, and I sent you a letter, and it was to you, and it said, you may not remember this, but it said, Dear Jeff, happy birthday, and blah, blah, blah. I really appreciate your support. And then I stamped it, and it was a stamp with blue ink, and it looked like a signature. And you said, this is so awesome. Barb Brown sent me mail. I mailed it to you, right? Do you remember this? Yes. Do you remember this? And then a few days later, I sent another one, and it was all officially, addressed to you and everything. And it said, Dear Jeff, fuck you. Sincerely, Barb Brown, right?
Dude, we had some good times, brother. We did some crazy stuff. I don't know. A lot of my stories need to be sanitized, but
we stole we borrowed a wheelchair
from Schnucks, and then Dave Stevenson did the wheelie. and Toby was into photography back then, and he has this snapshot, which I think we all still have.
It's like
of Stevenson literally. Like gravity had already taken over. Gravity was in control.
His head was that far his head was that far.
Oh man, yeah. That was. How about when you guys stole my? Oh, never mind. We won't go.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, we'll keep it sanitized for now. No, we had some crazy parties. 820. I don't know if you remember. 820 West Walnut was on the corner. In Carbondale, next to the new Schnucks, but catty corner to that fire department. And towards the end of our college careers, we would have these house parties because that's what you did in Carbondale. You get like 4 or 5 kegs of beer, and we made we buy like 8 gallons of Everclear and mix it with like fruit punch in a trash can.
And we'd take trash bags
with black lights, right? And I had the old with a cassette tape thing, boombox stereo thing, and people were dancing. Carbondale, yeah. But so many people have these experiences in college, man. And I think that's part of the problem. I'm not gonna lie, man. You look at what's going on down the beaches in Florida. And we were young and dumb. We didn't know any better. I mean, I honestly would say that if we were in their shoes, we'd probably do the same thing. We'd road trip down to Memphis or
probably.
You know, how many
No
roaches to
problem.
Memphis did we take, man?
Plenty.
You know,
Yeah.
literally, just get in the car and go. How about? Oh, I got one. How
Here's
about?
one for you. Here's one for you. Ready? John Gibson.
Oh, the padlock. So I'm roommates. Hold on, I gotta tell this story. So I'm roommates with Toby and Bill Nolan and Jeff Walter and Steve Albrecht. Okay,
Right.
Amazing human beings, lifetime bonds. And Bill and I shared the downstairs bathroom, and neither one of us would clean the bathroom. I mean, we're college dudes, you know. Well, one day, Bill, who's senior to me in age, said, "I'm done with this. You never clean. The bathroom's trashed." So he went out and padlocked the bathroom.
He went to a hardware store and bought a padlock.
You know, of logic sound mind, I consult my peers, Toby and John Gibson, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I can't. Where do I go to the bathroom? Like, what do I do? So you know what John said? He goes, "Dude, just go buy your own padlock and padlock his padlock." So I padlocked his padlock. So it was mutually assured destruction, man. It was the GOP political mindset of the 80s, man. We just said, all right, we're going to blow each other up. That's it. So then we were all using Steve's bathroom
upstairs.
Until, of course, Toby came in and made peace. He made peace.
Oh, did I? Oh, that's nice of you.
You made
That's
peace,
nice
man.
of you. I remember, God love Bill, where the suddenly shit would get shut off at the house. Like it wouldn't, I don't know, it could be power, cable, whatever it may be. And then we'd be like, we got to talk to Bill. And so, you know, he'd he'd have that lighter. Clink, clink,
oh my God.
Clink, clink. It's like, oh, what's up, guys?
Oh,
like, oh, we need to get the power turned on. You can't see this stream. We got Sean Keith is in on this.
Hey, Sean, he's a Southwest pilot, man.
Yeah.
Sean Keith is he's actually a very influential Southwest pilot.
That's what Sean says.
I follow Sean. I keep up with him. Yeah, man, I tell you, don't fly right now. But
yeah,
it's just stupid. Don't get on an airplane. But on the other hand, if you don't get on an airplane, me and Sean are going bye-bye, you know?
Yeah, right.
It's just a really interesting world, brother. Oh, by the way, some Bukal.
We're brought to this is our new sponsor.
So one of my since the hence of this is Doomsday Prep, let's get back to it. Right. So one of my Doomsday Prep forums recommended these. So I bought them on Amazon. I've been feeding them to my kids and myself for the last month. Not that I think they do anything, but apparently black elderberry is some really good stuff. Like it makes your immune system good. But the side effect of that is the scientists, which we all need to listen to right now, are saying that it's not necessarily the disease that kills you, it's your own body. It's your own immune system going into overactive status that makes you come down with the pneumonia. That ends up killing you. So if you have an overactive immune system because you're taking, this reminds me, some Bukal. So Trimmer, I got a quick Trimmer story.
All right, go for it.
So we're watching some Sunday night football game at the house in college. And back then they do like a bumper advertisement. So the guys that announced the game would announce whatever
Pepsi
product. Yeah, whatever. Exactly.
Pepsi, so the choice of a new generation.
Well, the product was Tums.
Right.
And the guy comes on.
Yeah.
Toby, go ahead. The guy comes on and he says what?
Well, this was the one where, it said, tonight's game is brought to you by Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. And it's playing the field and it shows you, the band playing and, it's that big overlay and, also brought to you by, by Coca-Cola or Budweiser. And then there's, and by Tums. Tums.
So to hear a NFL announcer do the actual soundbite from Tums, Trimmer stopped in his tracks and was just like, "Oh my God, did that just happen?" And then for the next 4.5 years, we would be in some fucked up situation, no matter where we were, some park or at a concert, somebody's getting arrested or whatever, and Toby would just pull out, "This is brought to you by Tums." Tums.
Oh shit. Okay. How about this? How about what you had some new products or some products that you have ready to go should you need them?
Well, I've shared the Sambucol. Right behind that, we want our apple cider vinegar, which again boosts your immune system. But whatever. It keeps the kids happy. It keeps me happy, to be honest with you. So I got this book from my father-in-law, who is one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met in my life, and I've never opened it, but today I pulled it off the shelf, and it's called Country Living, the encyclopedia of how to basically live off the land. It's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, way more deep than I would ever want to get into, how to, file down the hoof of a cow and stuff like that. Honestly, there's something in here. It's like, how what can you eat out of a bear stool? So
what can you eat out of bear stool?
I'd have to find that page again, but I would assume the corn. I don't know, man, but yeah. So I have some other cool stuff here. So a very real threat to our society. Not quite yet, but it's getting there, because a lot of this actually was spoken by. This question was asked on national media tonight to POTUS, President of the United States of America. Are you going to release nonviolent elderly criminals from the federal penitentiary system to avoid them dying from corona or spreading corona in our penitentiary system? And a lot of local jails are not prosecuting, nor are they arresting smaller crimes.
What do you got? It's are you being contacted?
Yeah, I need to. I'll just turn that.
Well, I didn't know, because I know you do a lot of stuff with CIA and everything.
Yeah, you know how that works. So it's important to defend your home and yourself. Now, there's no reason to go killing anybody. I mean, you should definitely have the ability to defend yourself. So I thought, I have a nice arsenal of weapons, but I don't want to ever use them. They're more antiques and souvenirs to pass down to generations. So I was like, what about non-lethals? So I started exploring non-lethals. And the first thing I did was I picked this thing up. It's called a Taser Pulse. And it's cool because it's the actual taser that the police use. Now, I don't know if it has the same effect, but it's a legit taser, man.
Have you tried it out?
No.
You've got what, 3 kids?
I do. Now, you're right. That is But as I'm shopping on this website and I pick up my taser, I see this other thing, and I was like, "Oh, all right. I don't know if I need it or want it, but because of what it's called and the aesthetics of it, I was like, you know what? I have to have this. I have to have this. This is the Barbarian 9 million bat stun gun. So now this goes in my car with me, and this is pretty cool. So not only is it like a bat with like a mace, it's like a medieval mace on top, but you turn this thing on and you hit a button and dude, yeah, I could totally see myself fucking myself up with this someday. I'm just saying. That's why I keep it in the box like this. I don't even take it out of the box, but it was a novelty because it's called the Barbarian. And when I saw that, I was like, I could just imagine, like, what level of shit you have to be in to pull out the Barbarian.
Is Brooks there? Get him. Let's see what that thing does.
You know what? I love them, right? They're all asleep. I could do it in their sleep.
Okay, what good stuff? So we all know that this coronavirus thing is caused by gay marriage. So what's the good stuff you've been seeing on your little atheist blogs and stuff and Facebook channels? What's the good stuff there? You're always good for an argument. We had some deep conversations about spirituality at your in Georgia, but what are you hearing? What's going on there?
So I have gone through a metamorphosis over the last 20 years with my faith and my belief systems, etc. And I've shared it very publicly with you, my friends, everybody, sure. Most of the people probably on this feed. And, I don't have the answers. No, nobody has the answers, but I've come to the certain conclusions that give me comfort. And but the funny part of all that is that I am subscribed to a lot of these atheist blogs and forums. And some of the shit that's coming down the pipe is out of control, man. I mean, it's like, it truly is it's pretty raunchy. So what I do is now I've had a few of these sometimes, and
it's okay. That's the best way to do this stuff, right?
Man, I wake up the next morning.
Unless you don't give a shit.
Well, that's the thing. I gotta delete it the next day because some of it's a little bit offensive. And so, to be honest with you, like I'm starting to mature a little bit in the sense of sharing all of the debauchery that comes down my pipe to the world. And I keep it private. So I do have my good friends, Jay, Jeff, Steve, and Heather. We have a small text thread of things we can't say to the world. Right. And so I'll share it with them. It makes it, it gets it off your chest, What the fuck? What are you going to do?
Have you seen the, I should post the link here when we get, have you seen, I think it's a guy named Vic Berger. And have you seen him do the Jim Baker, like bucket stuff on YouTube?
I have not.
Dude,
you should post the link.
It's something else. And he's Vic Berger is like it's satire stuff, but they take directly from Jim Baker's like online show, which by the way, we're gonna be as big as Jim Baker here, I'm sure.
I guarantee it. Dude, what you're doing right now, Toby, is epic. It needs to be done. Our story. We all have a story. Like the next guy you interview, you got to do it.
For sure.
Hell, I'll be your sidekick, man.
Why not? I'd love to.
3 screens on here.
Sure, we can. We can. Yeah, we could do up to like 4 or something like that.
Well, tell me. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing? What's the Trimmer family doing to prep other than those awesome toilet paper rolls? Right.
Well, those are, and that's the other thing, the elderberry product that you have, but we're also brought I made a quick phone call today, and we're brought to we're sort of streaming live here thanks to a generous contribution from Quilted Northern. And so, so what are we doing? It's been, look, man, it's been what you would call, I believe we called it back where I come from, a clusterfuck. And it's been fine. Mandy's had to go into the office a little bit. I had to be there a little bit this week. We're doing a lot of course, everything's, everybody's moving to online work, remote work, trying to, and it's, I trust to some degree we'll get accustomed to it a little bit. It's it's been a little bit of a, I mean, you ask me like with the family is fine. Cameron is, Lucas is plugged into Xbox and for a large amount of time, although he's been doing his homework and they were sending homework out. They had a Zoom call with Cameron's classes
Well, let me
this
ask you
last
a
week.
quick
Yeah.
question, real quick question,
Yeah.
segue. So, have you been to the grocery store?
Yeah.
Have you seen any guys with shoes attached to their feet? Just asking, man.
If people don't know what we're talking about, what you'll find is that I think you sent it onto my feed, right? And so, or to my, you tagged me in
I
it.
think I
It's something
texted
else.
or tagged you.
No, I
So
do have, well, I shouldn't, I did find some old masks. Did you get the masks and stuff? Didn't you order some shit online?
I made a post last night about what I did do was when this kind of segues back to the beginning of our conversation. I went to Harbor Freight, which I don't know if you're familiar with Harbor Freight, but
I
it's
am.
like a hardware
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
And it was right when I would say maybe February 1st, January 29th, somewhere in that time frame. And I walked in and I posted a photo on Facebook on my feed of the wall of N95 masks, face shields, all the stuff that was available. And I
Right.
bought enough for my family. Now I didn't
Right.
hoard it. I didn't
Right.
take the shelf, but I spent a few bucks and I put it in a bin for later. Well, I'm watching the world fall apart last night on TV at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just like, you know what? I need to donate this shit because it's sitting in a bin.
Yeah.
Number one, the mask probably won't fit on my kid's face. And there are real frontline humans that need this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. We donated
No
two
kidding.
masks. Yeah, two masks. So I bought 6 N95s. I have 5 people in my family. So 2 masks are going to my friend Seth Linder. His mom and her husband are down in Florida. They're elderly and they don't have supplies. So I mailed those out. And then the others we dropped at the hospital. I don't know if they'll use them because yes, it's hitting Georgia. It's growing exponentially, but we only have 3 cases in Paulding County right now that they're reporting. So, but you know what? What am I going to do with them? To be honest,
well, and
what am I going to do with them?
You've got that shooting stick thing there anyway. That whatever that thing is, it's
the Barbarian.
The Barbarian 9 million.
The Barbarian 9 million.
No, we're doing. Look, here's the thing. I mean, I think the question is, what's this all look like? This is real. Boy, are these real weird times for
Very
sure.
Weird. We thought 9/11 was weird.
Oh, this is something. This is something. And so I don't know what it lands like, Jeff. I will tell you, I was getting wait, hang on a second. My friend Joe Crane says Harbor Freight just announced they're donating inventory to hospitals.
Yes.
See, well, that's good. The only problem is that you gave all your shit away, and then see.
Well, God. You know what? I think that what we need to do as a society right now is stay home. Take a drive, go for a walk. I mean, don't like totally enclose yourself.
Yeah.
But just respect the guidelines, of our government or what they're putting out, because we are $1 short and about 10 days late.
Yeah.
So we're just chasing. We're kind of like a surfer on a wave, trying to catch that wave that's going to crest, and you're just behind it. That's our entire country right now. So it's really important that I think all of us back down the hatches for your family. Get some Sumbacol gummies.
Oh,
no, shit. Real. share your hoard, man. You know, there's no reason to have the supply.
No,
Like the supply chains are open right now.
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
The problem is getting out to go buy it. You don't want to expose yourself. So, you know, to walk into a Walmart, you know, have a sandy wipe with you and get what you need. Get the hell out of there, man. It's like, I don't know, man. We're a society, and literally, if anything's taught us anything, if this event has taught us anything as humans, it's how connected we are. So it's kind of funny. I had this thought the other night. I haven't shared this with anybody ever, but I thought about
You're getting ready to share it with some people.
I'm getting real, man.
Although they probably dropped off. You know, I know how people do that, Jeff. Right? So they're like.
That's okay.
Because part of it is that a lot of it is just, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of it is that people.
Is it just you and me now, though?
No. I don't think so. A lot of it, though, is that people cannot stand to watch more than probably 30 minutes, just in large part because I'm so good looking.
Yes, that's so true, man.
All right, go on.
But back to your point real quick. This is like you said, and listen, man, I'm not a doomsday prepper, but I think I have a mind for it in the sense of like, I would go above and beyond to protect my family, no matter what.
Sure.
And if I see something on the radar, I'm gonna prep, and then if it fails, great, and I'll have a bunch of shit that I don't need, and I'll figure it out. Back to your point is humanity, and this is really interesting. We have these racial lines, political lines. We have people hating each other, and all of the lines, the political map of our world that we live in.
Right.
The one silver lining of this event is that it truly could bring us all together, because this fucking disease does not discriminate. We are all human beings. So it's really important to know that your neighbor, no matter what flag he's flying out on his house, or what color they are, or what they do for a living, or it doesn't matter. It's so important to know that we are human in this fight together, period. End of story. I mean, there's just, and that's the only silver lining I could think of this, because it's affecting everybody equally. Well, except for Senator Laughlin from Georgia. Have you seen that shit?
No. What's going on there?
So she comes out of her senator meeting.
No, I'm familiar with that. Right.
God, what the fuck, dude?
Right. I know.
What do you like? How do you do that? How can you possibly come out of a meeting like that and then dump $3.1 million worth of stock? Like, I get it. It's a sound financial decision, but if that isn't insider trading, like you can't do that. You have to fix what you were elected to fix.
That's exactly right. And here's that's exactly right. And it's certainly something that's frustrating, and it's bipartisan, right? So that makes you got folks from both parties, Feinstein, I believe, you got the chairman of that committee engaging in that stuff. I happen to believe that. I think that occurs all the time. And in what the most unfortunate thing about it, I think, is that it reinforces this narrative with people that government is, that the people who are elected officials at every level are out for themselves and not out for the greater good. And I have to, it's largely been a lot of what I've done for a living. And I, you can talk to people till they're blue in the face and explain to them that it has been my experience. And I can say it with all the honesty and sincerity that I can muster. That the vast majority of people who are elected officials, now again, I was in the Illinois legislature side, the most corrupt state in the nation. They are decent, good people who really work their asses off for not a whole lot of pay in the grand scheme of things for what they put into it. And it's just, people don't I just it's unfortunate. I mean, the pundits and critics and people frustrated. I mean, that's what we do in America. We complain about our elected officials. But I go back and forth on how this situation is being handled. I'm not particularly pleased. I don't want to get into a big debate about the politics of things with the White House. I will say this: I am of the opinion that here in Illinois, I mean, I think we got our governor has really been busting their tail. I have had the luxury, or not the fortune, I guess, not the luxury, the fortune to be engaged to some degree to hear what the executive branch is doing in Illinois, and they are really working hard. And the truth is that, and they're making very tough decisions, right? And I mean, there's this sort of thing that people say, well, if the shutting things down, the shutting things down is going to, destroy the economy and da 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 da. I happen to think it's kind of, I don't think that anybody would do this. I just don't think people would do this if they didn't. If politicians wouldn't do this if it wasn't a necessary thing to do. That's my view, right?
Truth, brother.
Truth.
Absolutely.
So,
How
okay.
do we eat our cats?
How do we eat our cats? Well, that's Ryan Dunn is asking.
I know. I saw that. I was like, all right, we need to get back on topic here.
I came here for jerky. The Ryan Dunn. Can you see that on the edge there? It's not small talk. How do you make jerky out of domestic animals? So everybody. Well, I don't know. I think what you do. Do you?
I have some experience with this.
Okay. Well, why don't you highlight it for us so people can at least walk away with something valuable?
So I would recommend not eating your domestic animal,
right?
unless you just don't like it or it's on its end of days,
right?
But a dehydrator, man. The oven, 250 degrees for like 4 hours. Slow cook it, man.
Low and slow.
Dehydrate the food. And once you dehydrate it, I mean, it's going to last in the refrigerator for at least 6 months.
I thought Jeff Walter had some kind of thing he saw, that like you could use a box fan and dry, like he saw it on Alton Brown.
Alton Brown, yeah, I love that show. Good Eats. It's one of the best shows on TV. I'm sorry, best shows. Well, it's science. It's the science of cooking, man. It's like, it is epically good. It's one of the best shows ever.
Well, all right. So here's the other question I asked people earlier today. Filice, what is oh, look at this. Look at this.
Jeffrey.
Look.
That's a little off tune.
So what movies are you watching?
Who, me?
Yeah, you watching movies?
Yeah, man. Actually, y'all are gonna freak out. We showed our kids Contagion last night.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, it was great. You know why?
Why?
One, and this is again Doomsday Prepper theme, right? It's all about knowledge. It's about knowledge, man. You gotta educate your children. You cannot protect them from the world. You have to let them know. Now, you don't maybe show them Contagion like we did, but what's fucking crazy is everything that happened in that movie is happening like this week. Like the way the CDC responded, the actual vocabulary that they were saying, like words we've never heard, like novel virus. Who's ever heard that word? Like these words were being said in 2011 when they made this movie with Matt Damon. And, the only thing they didn't do is they didn't have, the Sumacol, man. But no, bro. So yeah, we showed them that, but yeah, we've done a bunch of movies, man. Heather, my wife, wants to do Gone with the Wind. I've never seen Gone with the Wind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a Civil War movie. Yeah, it's a great movie. So that's on the menu.
So I said it earlier today. Have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Oh, no, it's a wonderful film. It's got to be up in my top 10 now.
Please tell me about it. Give us a trailer. Give us a trailer. Tell me what it's about.
Well, Hey, this is one. I'm just looking at comments as we go along. Here you go from Steve. You want to tell these stories?
Steve Albrecht. Oh my God, Steve.
Toby slow cooked that hungry man dinner.
Didn't you almost burn the house down?
Yeah, that would happen frequently because it wasn't my fault. It was the alcohol mainly, and I wouldn't fall asleep. I would pass out. And so I did that at home too when I got married for a while. But you could, if you burn a pizza in an oven for a long period of time, it will become a sort of a brick or a kind of a thing, and it almost looks like art. It's
art.
Yeah, it almost looks like art.
It's how the cheese is sprinkled on, the different lines,
Oh, Jesus. I don't miss it. I don't miss it. All right, brother, here's the deal. Here's the deal. We're pushing almost an hour.
I can keep going.
I know you could. I know you could.
It.
And we but we've got important work to do remotely tomorrow.
That's so true.
You can't, though. You can't. But what do they do? Here's a question for you. Do you guys train online? Don't you do that anyway? You train flight online? No?
Absolutely not. No, we have an entire training center down in Orlando, Florida that's got
I thought you guys did some online stuff. Maybe
we do it's called quarterly distance learning. So it's an online Q&A, to force us to dig into the manuals and keep up to date with current events in aviation. But every year we have to go recycle through a training center and actually light our hair on fire and do real evacuations and real my engines just exploded over the North Atlantic. What am I going to do now? And that happens in person, real life. And JetBlue just announced today that all the initial operating new hires have been canceled. So anybody that's been hired at JetBlue in the last, I'd say 3 months, they finished their, 5 weeks of training in the simulator, and they send them out in the line with a check captain to become qualified, flying, and all that's just been scrubbed. And so it's literally a precursor to a massive furlough.
Yeah.
So it's gonna hurt, dude, but that's why we have
Symbicol. Okay, brother, I'm gonna look here. You keep the faith. Don't delete your feed just yet, because I'll end this here and then chat with you for a minute. And but in the meantime, it's thanks for being the first guest here on the Toby Trimmer Experiment. And I'll and I'll talk to you here soon. Okay.
I love you, brother.
I love you, brother. All right. Okay, that's our friend Jeff Filice, and a good friend of mine out of Georgia. Jeff's been all over the world, and he is one of the smartest, funniest guys I've ever met. And I was always told what is Teddy Roosevelt said. Speak softly and carry a big stick. And my philosophy has always been, you can say whatever the hell you want if you have somebody as big as Jeff standing behind you. So it's an absolute delight to have you here on this first. It's only an hour long. That's quite a while. So I'm sure I've bored the shit out of some people. But I want you to take care, be nice to each other, take care of yourself, and be kind. We'll see how frequently we can do this. It's all a matter of whether or not I have the patience and interest. But we really enjoy seeing folks' comments, and hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon. Keep the faith. Peace.